Good evening, Speed Gaming 6. Welcome to the slightly seat of the pants start of a Link to the Past Randomizer 2022 tournament race here. But we had a few technical difficulties. We're here now. We are featuring mooglecharm, who's currently 2-0 in groups against coolpapabell, currently racing his first race of the tournament, not counting quals. I'm Drosy. I'm here with Incoherent. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Hope everyone's having a good evening or morning or whatever time it is for you.
Yeah, and I haven't even had a chance to check the mode yet, so we should probably find that out and get the information to our audience.
This is regular keys, if I remember correctly.
Yes, indeed it is. So by regular, we mean that Castle Tower keys and the GT Big Key are in their own dungeon. And we got some music now. Knowing how many MSUs Moogle's designed, this is probably one of his own.
Yeah, it looks like they both sort of started with Grove Bombs, it looks like, because with Key Sandy there's fewer with less access to bomb packs, so it's less likely you can buy them.
Yeah, not really good access to money, though, either. Oh, and there's a big key in the library. Might need that. Or might not, depending what dungeon it is. And hey, there the boots in Cack Well. Gotta go fast. I guess we'll be picking up that big key pretty soon. Also, we apologize for the choppiness of coolpapabell's stream. Unfortunately, this is his own stream dropping frames, so there's nothing we can do about it.
So yeah, we don't know what that big key was, because I think we lost the frames that had the text on it. We'll figure it out in a second.
So there's TR Big in Blind's Hut, and that's Desert Big in the library.
So nothing that immediately pushes you in a direction out of the initial CAC checks.
Yeah, nothing we can immediately use. Though the early boots are sure nice. Looks like coolpapabell's gonna do bonk rocks with them. It looks like mooglecharm's right behind him for that. And since this isn't a boss shuffle, compasses are basically useless. They'll tell you how many items you've collected in a dungeon, but that's about it.
They waste 2 seconds from the text box.
You have to actually pick them up. Coolpapabell forgetting that, oh yeah, tree pull doesn't do anything if you haven't beaten an enemy. And it looks like the tree pull was just bloopies anyway. Speaking of bloopies, that's also our bush crab prize. And the rarely seen second bush crab prize, which is a big 20.
I think it's 7 before it'll give you the second prize.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's 7 before or if it's on the 7th, but it's one or the other.
That bush crab in particular likes to just walk up to the lumberjacks where you can't actually get the prizes, so sometimes it's harder to get there.
So there's the first of 6 pod smalls sitting in the mushroom spot, which both of our runners picked up.
I thought coolpapabell might be buying bombs, but no, he just checked the island and went up to Eastern. With 3 bombs and no other weapons, it's sort of hard to do either escape or mini Moldorm Cave. There's a glove at Saha, so that's helpful.
Yeah, always nice to get a Sphere 1 glove. 1/3 of our Dark World access. It's unfortunate with the slideshow. It's like the suspense. This is a small key too, and now we have to wait for mooglecharm. But Moogle's about to get his glove as well, so he'll probably be in the back of Escape before too long.
Now coolpapabell's going for bombs at the shop. Interesting I didn't do this before. And that is a green pen at TR, which I don't think coolpapabell looked at.
Oh, that is useful information. Of course, we get the big key early, so it's a green pendant, just like if we'd gotten the ice ride early. So now let's see what that small key is. TR, of course. It's a bit worrisome when the game's giving us this stuff for TR this early and telling us it's a pendant.
Yeah, and since this isn't inverted keys, you actually do need the TR keys. If you want to actually go into TR. Like pretty good job there with the Bombini Moldorms.
Yeah, that was pretty smooth. There's a desert map. Our second pod small. Money. Oh, and mitts. Wow. And I missed the Moon Pearl, but that's our Dark World access. Do you remember where it was in Coherent?
It was in the well in CAC.
Oh, so this is purely Sphere 1 Dark World access. One of those days.
But it is Mitt's Dark World access, which means that East Dark World might still logically require AGA.
Oh, yes. It'll always be that suspense until we find the hammer.
I mean, I should hope that both of these... Actually, that's 2 pendants, by the way.
Yeah, so Eastern and Desert are our other pendants, so we don't know 5-6, but everything else has to be crystals.
There are ways of avoiding doing AGA for East Dark World access, unless it's Hammer and Pyramid Fairy, which never happens. Even that's avoidable, it just takes more effort.
Yeah, then you have to know bomb dupe. But also, since our 5-6 crystals are both in the Dark World, there is a reasonably good chance that at least one of the 5-6 crystals will be Hammerlock.
That's true.
Unfortunate death there for Moogle, though, running into a sand crab, since he's dashing without a sword, and that's what can happen when you dash without a sword.
Yeah, they're murder crabs. They murder.
Ooh. Swamp Small in the waterfall. That's kind of nice. Absolutely required since we know Swamp's a crystal. And we don't need to worry about the fact that its flipper's locked because Swamp's flipper's locked, so by the time we can use it, we'll have the flippers anyway.
And that is a cane on the ledge that we can't get.
Yeah, we can't even do a splash delete with what we have so far.
Also, am I misreading coolpapabell's money count? Nope, I'm not.
Yeah, you don't see Zora yell at the players to get more money very often.
That's good, though. That means that when you come back to get the cane, you can get the Zora check.
Moogle, on the other hand, has Zora money, but is more interested in pursuing his Dark World access. So he's also learning the pendant, so both runners know what the pendant crystal deal is.
Don't know the red crystals yet. We could go talk to the bomb shop guy and find out. But I see a lot of runners not actually doing it.
I imagine in due course we will as we make our way around the Dark World here. Ooh, nice Castlevania 3 music. Yeah, this is definitely one of Moogle's own MSUs. Skullwood Small and Thieves. Now, logically, Mothula is locked behind all 3 Skullwood Smalls. In actuality, as long as you can get one, you can generally route the dungeon pretty cleanly. As coolpapabell finds the book in Skullwoods.
And even the one isn't strictly necessary, you just need to route in a particular way to make that work.
Yeah, the one just makes routing a bit easier.
Yeah, the one is definitely nice, especially in non-entrance where you don't have the guaranteed key.
And Moogle's setting up a Death Warp here. Doesn't have the Thieves' big key in any case. And even if he did, he doesn't have a weapon to beat blind with.
Would have been a bit awkward if we got a refill there.
Yeah, there's always that risk.
That's always a terrible feeling, like you're trying to set up a Death Warp and then suddenly you have full health again. coolpapabell is having Gibdo problems, I think.
I mean, it's tough when all you have for weapons is bombs.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot to work with, and the Gibdos don't always cooperate. He does have a fair amount of health, at least.
With the book and the desert big key and the boots, there are 3 items we can get out of desert, and 2 more if we save scum. The small key. So that'll be an interesting play to see if anyone goes there. And Moogle going down this way is going to do the dig game, and then he'll probably do a good old Jeremiah World Tour. And boy, is the dig game a good deal today. 3 digs for a sword. As coolpapabell also finds his first sword in Pinball Room of Skull Woods. I was wrong about mooglecharm and Smith Chain. I don't know.
There's something to be said here. That's... Oh, he's going back for it.
Yeah.
Because doing this commits you to coming back to Kakariko and Light World once you save and quit.
Which isn't horrible, especially if you do manage to pick up the hammer in the meantime, then you can check Magic Bat while you're at it. But without the hammer, all we have around here is Hype Cave, and we can go to the bomb shop to find out what our 5/6 are. It's also an interesting question of when Moogle will do Skull Woods, because coolpapabell is clearly going to be doing dig spots soon and we'll get a Master Sword. But Moogle could be on Fighter Sword for a bit. Hey, was that 2 shields in Hype Cave?
That was 2 shield, yes.
I'm sure any runner would love to see that.
Just in case you missed the first shield, here's a second one that is just as useless.
And Moogle is also keeping us in suspense about those 5/6 crystals.
I think I've seen a lot of people just not check that because they figure that at some point when they decide Pyramid Fairy might be a good idea, they can check their own pause screen and see what they already have.
Ooh, Smith is a good play because that means that unless Hammer is on Pyramid Fairy, this is not a logical Agaseed. Because did you know, in the spot where most people kern jump, you can actually cross that in logic if you have flippers. I've also seen people forget they have flippers in kern jump anyway.
The fake flippers, yes. We seem to be trading places, though. Mooglecharm is in fact going to Skull Woods now with this 1 key.
Oh, and with the flippers, if he ever does Zora, he'll be able to get Samaria, which would have been useful in this room.
The sword's already an improvement, because you can sort of bat the Gibdos away a bit. Sometimes. Ooh, that was close.
That was interesting. He got hit, and the iframe saved him from being grabbed. But second time, not so lucky. As coolpapabell does get his Master Sword.
Okay, we've closed the door for the Gibdos.
Map of the castle, not very useful.
Yeah, that's one of the two that you never want to see, really.
The Super Castlevania 4 music in Skullwoods is creepy. So there's Moogle's book, while I'm sure coolpapabell is overjoyed by his fire shield.
And so far, we've sort of done the same checks. Koha built a couple of the flipper checks that mooglecharm hasn't done, and Ice Rod Cave, because mooglecharm got crabbed on his way over there.
Ooh, and coolpapabell is now going to give us King's Tomb, which I don't believe we've seen yet.
I think mooglecharm did this before he went to Dark World.
Oh, did he? Okay, I missed it. Oh, that's how he had more money and had Zora money, while coolpapabell didn't. It looks like we're going to get a bumper ledge check here. Just a heart container.
Might go back for the chest here.
Purple chest, you mean?
Yep.
It does look that way, as Papa's gonna get his flippers. So where's Papa heading now? Is he gonna do the flippers checks, I'm guessing? This
Yeah, I
looks
think
like
knowing the cane is there, I think he's going directly to the flippers checks.
Yeah, and I guess he didn't do Hobo before.
He wanted to keep his water walk. He was just going to do the waterfall cave. He didn't go all the way up here.
Makes sense. Ooh, and a fetch quest from the purple chest. Thieves small. So now if we have the thieves big, that puts the back of thieves in logic. And I'm guessing Moogle's going to do the Desert Palace play. And I forgot we can also get the item on Desert Ledge, which we have not seen yet. We could even beat Desert out of logic if we had a fire source, but we don't.
Unless it's in there, which does sometimes happen.
Yes. Never say never.
Alright, second time's the charm here.
Oh, a big key. Eastern. May or may not need that since Eastern is a pendant. A small key on the torch. Is it vanilla? No, Harrismall. Which does absolutely nothing for us because we don't have a fire source.
I'm not sure how I feel about Oil Ocean for Desert Palace. I'm just gonna say that. Ooh, flute though.
Yeah, that's good progression. That puts the mountain in logic. Though without either the hook shot or the mirror, we can't really do much on the mountain.
It is a thing we're going to need eventually.
And also, that gives us Mire access. I mean, Mire area access. We don't have a medallion to get in, but we can do Mire Shed and check the medallion.
Would not be surprised if that is mooglecharm's next move.
Yeah, 2 easy checks and information. Oh, and this is our first look at Escape.
Oh, this makes sense. Let's do the mushroom first.
Yeah, we have the powder, so don't need to worry about having to potentially save scum the mushroom. And Moogle wasting $60 on something he could just as easily get from the waterfall fairy. I was going to say, we haven't gotten the sewers key yet, so Zelda's cell is not in logic.
It's one of those keys you don't really worry about too much because it doesn't really do anything for you. It just puts things in logic.
Yeah. And there's a Mire Small in Ice Rod Cave, which coolpapabell also has. The first Mire Small is useful for routing and a bit of logic. The second and third don't really do anything except put the left side in logic.
Second can help if you don't have a big key. Gets you to that one chest faster.
It looks like Papa's gonna do Dark Cross without a fire source while he's here. Makes sense. It's one of the easier dark rooms.
And unlike non-key sanity mode, you can't do it from the back. Not without waiting for the small key, at least.
Right. Which is exactly why Zelda's cell is out of logic, because the game assumes that you scummed a small key from the front and used it to do Dark Cross from the back.
Exactly. Also, fun fact about this chest, which is sort of obnoxious to get, you can bonk off the bottom torch and you'll be lined up with it.
That would involve seeing the bottom torch. So Moogle now sees the thread canes on Zora Ledge. I kind of missed what Papa picked up, though.
Yeah, I didn't see the actual item there. So we've really done some similar sets of checks so far. I think the only major distinction is that coolpapabell is now in front of Escape, and mooglecharm is now in Purple Chest, neither of which had anything.
Oh, and what do you know? Our 5/6 are French control. And that is a vanilla ether required for Mire.
You know what's better than 2 shields?
Stopping a riot? But hey, the funny thing about getting the mirror shield is that runners are so unused to having it. Sometimes they'll do laser bridge and still try to do laser skips because they forget they have the mirror shield and can use it for its intended purpose.
Yeah, definitely done that.
That's up there with kern jumping when you have the flippers.
Or doing the fake flipper transition at Ice Rod Cave to go to Zoro when you have flippers. I mean, and Hobo too, but the one at Hobo is actually not unreasonable to do that way.
Yeah, though with boots you're gonna arm a water walk anyway, most likely, and that can still be useful even when you have flippers because it makes you go fast.
We are getting a couple new checks in Desert here. Coolpapabell took the key from the back.
Oh. Guess he figured it'll be a while before he gets a fire source and it's a pendant anyway.
I did not see if he death warped so he could scum it.
Given that
that's
it's
not worthwhile.
Yeah. But it doesn't look like he's scumming it, and honestly, given that Lanmos has one item and a non-green pendant, the likelihood of needing Lanmos is very low. Oh yeah, we do want to shout out our tracker, Lupoy, who is doing their best to keep up with Key Sandy, which is hard enough, and even harder when one of the runners is a slideshow. Oh, and here's our first look at the mountain. The only item that's actually in logic up here is whatever's inside Spec Rock, but you do get the save and quit point with the old man rescue.
And with the flute, and especially with no mirror as well, this is the best save and quit point to start from.
So while these runners are doing this, I wanted to give a rundown of Group L. Oh, Meyer Big Key, we will need that. So far in Group L, these two runners have faced each other once. mooglecharm won that matchup. mooglecharm has also faced Shady Force twice and split with him. And Ninjembro has beaten Shady Force but hasn't faced either of these runners yet. And let me just say, this is a really scary group with those runners I just named.
They're all pretty scary groups, to be honest.
Yeah, we're really at a point where, anyone can beat anyone else. Are certain runners favored in certain matchups? Sure. Are they a shoo-in? By no means. And wow, I guess we should have done the mountains sooner as we find the hookshot in Spec Rock Cave, so now we can do East Death Mountain.
They're still following each other around, so Coolpapabell is right behind.
Yeah, I don't think either of them really wants to swim to pod with only 2 small keys and no bow on.
It's already a long walk to pod, even if you can flute to 5 when you can't. It's just that much less appealing of a play.
Yeah, you have to use CAC Portal and go all that way. Well, there's our third pod small. I'm sure we'd love to see a hammer and a bow up here. Thieves Big and Bombos. Okay, got half our wish. There is a bow. So Eastern is now beatable. Thieves is beatable if you're willing to orphan Big Chest.
Yeah, usually you orphan that chest because of the small key, but in this case, it's the hammer.
Just pretend you're playing a standard dungeon item mode. But that also makes pod a bit more appealing. We don't have a big, we can't finish it. We don't have the hammer either. But 3 smalls and a bow, and you can do quite a bit of it. And the hammer could be over there. Oh, and hello, mirror.
Well, that does open up a dungeon we can finish.
Yeah, that hook shot means we can Herapot. So I would fully expect to see both runners do Hera and Ether Tablet after they've done Dark Death Mountain.
This makes a nice route. You just go up DDM, you check the Turtle Rock Medallion, you can mirror on Lionel Bridge, so you don't have to go around.
Another TR small. We are really getting stuff for TR. Except that without the hammer, we can't open it. And it's Ether anyway. But if we had Ether, Laser Bridge would be in logic, and you don't really want to think about that for Pendant TR. Oh no! So Incoherent, what do you think about that Ice Rod showing up in conjunction with all this TR stuff?
I mean, it had to be somewhere.
True, you just kind of hope it's in GT.
The fact that it's double Ether means there's one less thing that can be in Turtle Rock.
So we now have both Ice Palace smalls, interestingly. Bombos will get us into ice. Technically, it's not in logic to beat Cold Stare without the big key, but out of logic, with Icebreaker, we could do everything in ice except the big chest.
There are 2 checks we can't get in ice, because they are both
Oh,
hammer-locked.
hammer! Shoot, sorry. What is up with this hammer?
There is a 3rd that you can get out of logic with the Icebreaker, without a hammer.
To address chat, hammer cannot be on PED because TR is a pendant and you can't open TR without the hammer.
Yep, Pendant Tiara removes a lot of options for that. That and the Fire Rod. And either.
Right, Fire Rod's not on Ped. Lamp is definitely not on Ped. Hey, and 40 minutes in, we're getting our first boss fight of the game. Just junk, but it does give us our first crystal. And to answer chat, no, Ped is not dead because we still need the pod big key. And there's nothing saying the pod big key can't be on Ped. I mean, silvers could be on Ped, but if so, we're just playing the silverless.
Yeah, there's no chance that you're actually going to go get the silvers from there.
Okay, move back to the CAC portal. What do we think? Is this going to be the pod play?
I think this is Thieves Town.
Oh, good point.
Like, yes, it feels bad to orphan the big chest, but it is a crystal, and there are 3 items in logic there.
Yeah, and we're at the point where you just need to start collecting crystals as best you can.
All your other dips are fairly unappealing. This is one you can at least finish.
Hey, if you want bad locations for things, we have the first 2 chests in Swamp and Logic.
You might actually pass that way on your way to pod or something after this, and then pick those up.
I think I probably would route that, swing by K45 and Bombos on the way.
Like, they're not the fastest 2 checks, but you don't want to lose to them by last locationing at this stage.
And short of pod, we're starting to run out of things. I mean, yeah, we have about half of ice.
Hammerless Ice is not really where you want to be, though.
Hammerless Swamp isn't where you want to be either. Oh, Skull Big Key, that's one more check, but probably worth it to dart up there and just do it at this point. Especially if it turns out to be the vanilla Fire Rod.
Again, sort of lacking in good options here. Which one is the least bad?
Maybe Blind Cell will have something. Nope.
Not so much.
So these runners have drawn surprisingly even with each other for all that's happened. coolpapabell, you know, half a dungeon behind, but that's really not much. Blind gives us the best meringue, which doesn't do us that much good.
So yeah, Thieves' Town is not the answer.
Honestly, in Key Sanity, though, 2 crystals in 45 minutes, in the first 45 minutes, really isn't bad. And I wonder if Moogle's coming up here to check out Skullwood's big chest. Is he also gonna do Graveyard Ledge while he's in North Dark World? And at that point, are you tempted to do Catfish? Or else you just orphan those 2 locations and hope you never have to go there.
Looks like he's going this way, though.
As Papa takes down Blind.
I mean, again, your options here are 2 checks in Swamp, 5 in Logic and Ice, or 3 key Pod, and none of those are great.
And a couple of more one-offs like Magic Bat or K45 or Bombos Tablet. And it looks like we are going to see a Catfish play.
I think we're also seeing Magic Bats. Coolpapabell forgot the end of a hammer for a second, but he's going there now.
Yeah, and with the flute, he can turn in the purple chest perfectly easily afterwards. As I recall, purple chest was junk.
Purple chest is the mushroom, which was junk.
Okay. Fair point. Magic Bat is also junk.
It's junk with extra steps.
So we've exhausted all our fetch quests now. Catfish is also junk, so it looks like Moogle is now going to do Pyramid and Pod, since he didn't save and quit. And what about Coolpapabell? Is this where he makes the south play for K45 and Bombos and Swamp?
He sort of has the same choice. You can go north or south. You can go to the Skullwood's big chests and do the 2 checks that mooglecharm just did, or he can go south and do the mirror checks. But there's the hammer on the pyramid.
So put in logic, buy those flippers. We could have had it a while ago.
Thanks, I hate it.
Okay, now Pod's a bit more appealing. Now Ice can be completed minus the big chest.
I think Moogle's thinking about it, but going toward Ice.
Makes sense. I mean, you know you can finish it. Oh yeah, and chat reminding us also, Swamp is full clearable minus the big chest. So this routing for both players was definitely the right call.
This is a fun strat that Coolpapabell's using to mirror bonk to do the screen transition for the mushroom. You put your portal down such that the bush blocks you, and you mirror bonk, and so then you can just pick up the item.
Yeah, definitely the fastest way to do mushroom turn-in. Now, Cool Papa Bell just has to not save and quit after Catfish. Okay, he's good. He should get his hammer shortly. Ooh, fourth pod small. It's really starting to open up, but we still need that big.
I think at this point you can go do swamp first before you consider pod, unless you find the big key.
Another Skullwood small. Pretty worthless. So we need pod, big, fire rod, and ether, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, great. Now Zelda Cell is in logic.
The absolute nothing in escape, yeah.
Master Sword and Hammer Cold Stare isn't really what you want to be doing, but...
It's not great, but at least it's not Fighter Sword.
I'm starting to wonder, though, since we've just been fed the 2 remaining Skullwood Smalls, is Fire Rod maybe in here somewhere? We didn't see Ice-T, did we?
No, he did it first.
Oh, okay.
With the extra keys, you can drop down from the plus-shaped room upstairs, or downstairs, actually, and do Ice-T first, and then bomb jump across the freezers.
Oh, right. Which is the easy bomb jump direction, too.
Yeah, that one is literally free. You just put yourself in the top right corner, drop the bomb to the right, you cannot miss it up. Unless you're me.
Nice job by mooglecharm there with Master Sword spins and hammers.
But nothing really sort of game-changing in here. There was a pod small, but that's still 4.
Yeah, and you hope the rule of fire didn't just make you leave the fire rod in the big chest. Oh, I guess Moogle's decided that he's going to work around this way. Do we think he'll do K45 and Bombos before he enters Swamp?
He might just be doing this as a one-off. He's in a couple of these one-off checks as he's gotten new items just to sort of cover his bases. Because this is heading towards swamp, it seems.
Yeah, though he may yet do those 2 one-offs before going in. I've seen runners do it.
This is definitely the time to do them, either before or after, preferably before, just so you have more information for left side swamp.
Yep, this is a Bombos play.
So right now you're 3 for go mode, and you probably end up doing all of swamp.
Second bottle, woohoo!
That bee is probably pretty angry after being stuck there for who knows how long.
Inside a tablet, no less.
Is it really inside the tablet, or is it somewhere up in the sky that is then summoned by the tablet?
Okay, fine. It's off in the ether. Except this was
Off in the Bombos, yeah.
Chad, of course, still hoping... Oh, as we find the silvers in the first check of Swamp. Chad's still hoping that Pod Big Key is either on ped or behind ped.
Yeah, unfortunately for fans of pedestals, that's the only thing that can be on there is Pod Big or something leading to it.
Really grooving to the music here.
Yeah, chat talking about charmer responses to this song.
Well, this cold stare fight is looking interesting. Looks like he's got 2 puffs down.
Pulled out the blue cane for a second there, which is kind of interesting because you can't spin with that. You have to use the Master Sword slashes.
He's also out of magic. Ooh, no!
I think he still had his green too, he just didn't want to use it.
Yeah. Right, I mean, you could still hack away a cold stare. Oh, Swamp Big in Swamp. So that gives us one more check in here.
One chest early, but yep.
Where's Cool Papa Bell going? I mean, he must have checked TR Medallion and seen that it's ether.
And this wouldn't be the way you go to Spike Cave, which is a thing that is open.
Yeah, but you wouldn't go around East Death Mountain to get to Spike Cave.
Yeah, you wouldn't go this way.
Oh, there's the ice big key, so now we can go back for that orphan chest. Oh, yeah, Cool Papa Bell realizing, hey, wait a minute, I only have Bombos and I need Ether.
So now the two worst locations in the game are both available to us.
I'm a bit surprised for all our long discussion that Papa is now choosing Pod over Swamp.
I think he feels like he has to make a play after that death.
Yeah, could well be. I mean, he was already behind because he was following in Moogle's footsteps and Moogle was out executing him.
I mean, neither feels particularly good about that hammer location. Yes, all the things they did were reasonable, but a reasonable person could have gotten that way earlier if they wanted to.
Also looked like Kiki ran off on him. Those silvers are going to be nice right about now.
It's kind of a fun one to line up.
So that's crystal number 4, just past the hour mark. It's also the last crystal we can get with our current inventory.
Yeah, it might be pod time now for mooglecharm.
I think this is where
There's
he does
not really
K4
much else.
knives. But yeah, still lacking a fire source. We can't do like Hera Basement. I think besides Pod, we might have Thieves Big and Ice Big, and that's about it.
Spike Cave, I guess.
Oh yeah, we do have Burna for that.
And neither went back for hammer pegs either.
Oh, true.
But this is the sensible play. I think that mooglecharm is just going to play this out sort of as normal.
Yeah, so basically we have 4 ugly one-offs in Pod.
We can get 11 in pod with these items.
If you don't unlock the middle door, you can get 12, but you have to do a lot of looping around for that.
Friends do 4-key pod.
Oh, great. We found a small key and the big key chest. Wonder what it was a small key to.
I mean, I'm thinking that if you're leaving here and you don't have the pod big by then, use your 5th key as a save scum on one of the two.
Well, chat's also pointing out that, you know, if you're willing to use all your small keys, you can do all 12 small chest checks now. You just then need to get the 5th small once you got the big to be able to get to Helma. Oh, I see. So that was our 3rd Misery Mire small. We can't actually do left side Mire because we still don't have a fire source.
I think coolpapabell just missed his hammer jump and left.
Oh, right. We completely didn't talk about no one's been into Eastern this whole time. They are clearly channeling the spirit of Zelgadisson.
Pretty much, yeah. I knew someone had the emote. There it is.
Well, that's the never skip Eastern emote. And that's our first GT Small. French Vanilla Arrow of Destiny. Actually, is that vanilla? I can't remember which side of Rupee Basement it's vanilla on.
I thought it was the other side, but I could be wrong.
So it looks like Moogle is going to skip Harmless Hellway and keep that last small key for when he gets the big key. Eastern's just been junk, yes. I missed the compass chest, but I don't think there was anything in it.
We might actually have to go back to one of those big chests.
Actually, I just realized it's out of logic without, a fire source, but Eastern is full clearable. At this point, you probably do Armos Knight since you're in here.
Yeah, I don't know that you want to leave at this point. It's not as if the fire source is actually your go mode or anything. There's two more things you have to find.
But you can really see how Moogle's execution is benefiting him here because, Papa was like half a dungeon behind him in ice, and yes, to be sure, there was the cold stare death, but Moogle did a full clear of swamp and has still almost caught up to Papa in Eastern after they both did the same amount of pod.
He's about half an Eastern behind, but that's a lot less time than a full swamp.
Absolutely. Would be interesting if we get a fire source here, because that would tell you a lot about the other fire source. But just our second GT Small.
So not a lot left as far as progression items. So now while coolpapabell does Swamp, mooglecharm will be able to check one of those Bad Orphan locations. This Dark Room can get away from you if you move the Igor and aren't ready to shoot at it. He might actually just be leaving.
Oh wow, flat out mirroring out. Interesting. Well, as long as nothing's on Ped, that just saved him some time.
You do probably want 2 GT Smalls before you finish the seed, but there are 4 of them, so you should be able to find them.
The other 2 are on Laser Bridge.
So this is a Spike Cave check.
Yeah, first look at it.
Wanted a fairy to save magic, did not get it. You should still be fine with half magic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That, like, dicey without half magic, even with Berna, but just for a big 20. So, what did we say was the other thing besides Thieves' Big Chest and Ice Big Chest?
Hammer pegs.
Ah, yes.
Which, if you squint properly, is 2 checks relatively close to each other, so I guess we're doing those. I'm not sure how bad you feel about these, considering that... I mean, yes, you could have gotten the hammer earlier, but would have you done it before Thieves' Town?
Yeah, given how annoying it is to get to East Dark World without the hammer. And just bombs there. So we'll start a prediction. Is it going to be Thieves Big or Ice Big? Spend your hard-earned SG6 channel points, if you have any channel points on SG6. What are you thinking, Coherent?
I'm gonna say Thieves Big.
I'm actually thinking Ice, just because Rule of Fire, and it would only be fitting if the Fire Rod's in there.
The other question is, which one is it? It's probably not the Pod Big, because it doesn't do anything with these items, but...
GFE trolling me in chat, but okay, for those of you who aren't aware, the Rule of Fire says that fire-related items, Bombos Lamp and Fire Rod, tend to lock each other. And it's Ice, unless we're completely forgetting something. As coolpapabell finishes Swamp, but he didn't do left side, so he didn't get his Swamp Big to get his Ice Big, which we're pretty sure he's gonna need. Oh, he's going back in. Okay, we're good. To answer chat, coolpapabell did scum the small key from the back of Desert, so we've seen everything in Desert except for Landmos, and we can't do Landmos without a fire source.
One slightly bit of good news here is that coolpapabell will have the Ice Big when he goes back in. He'll actually get it on the way.
So yes, Cool Papa Bell isn't in a horrible situation, though he's still behind. He might actually do Ice Before Thieves.
I would imagine so. I imagine he takes this big key and goes, oh, okay, this is convenient.
I mean, he knows he has to go back into Ice to be Cold Stare at some point. And it's Ether.
That's a pretty big chunk of items that's open now. One dungeon you want to do and one that you don't.
And Myra's interesting because we still don't have a fire source. I mean, you want to do Myra first for the crystal, but we'll be skipping those two chests on the left side.
There's still 5 before that, so it's possible we'll run into one.
Or it's possible the fire rod's on Laser Bridge.
But if the fire rod's on Laser Bridge, the lamp has to be somewhere else.
Yes, that's true, because Laser Bridge is logically lamp-locked. And Moogle going to hit the switch and steal a key in any case, which is the correct routing. And hey, you can get in another prediction if whether you think Meyer will have anything for us or if we're going to have to go to TR.
Apologies to people who live in countries where you can't gamble your channel points.
Meyer really coming up empty so far. Two more chances, Bridge Chest and Vitreous himself, of course. Vitreous is logically behind the lamp. So does the lamp basically have to be in Turtle Rock at this point?
I think so. That or the fire rod has to be early.
Yeah, and then the lamp could be in, like, back of Skull Woods.
Right.
Well, we're definitely not seeing spooky action today. But
You
at
have to do
least
this the
Vidi,
normal way, yeah.
at least Vidi's gonna be fast with silvers. And Papa's back in ice now, so he will get that ether and hopefully beat Cold Stare this time.
This is also Pyramid Fairy, which is out of logic but possible.
No more out of logic than Vidi was. And of course, there are still 2 pod smalls out there. It looks like Moogle is going to do out of logic Pyramid Fairy. Can't have the lamp, could have the Fire Otter pod big.
You don't really need the lamp, so...
Right. Well, that would tell us that definitely the lamp had to be in the first part of TR.
That either pick probably feels pretty good, all things considered, but what coolpapabell doesn't know is that mooglecharm already got there.
Still, it saved him having to go into Thieves again. Another pod small.
So even if you had to use all 4, you'd be fine with the 5th one there.
But yeah, you're not going into pod just to check Harmless Hellway, so TR it is.
Especially because that's a 6-key chest, and theoretically you should find a 6th key if you need something from there.
Well, what if the big key is in Harmless Hellway? Can it be a 5-key chest at that point?
I don't think it's that, because the big key door in pod is actually after the small key door.
Oh, okay. Well then, scratch that.
Alright, second time the charm on Cold Stare.
Right, what was confusing me is the small key door is after the bow lock and the hammer lock.
Right, so I believe the way it's written is that if the 5 keys lock the bow, the hammer, or for some reason the lamp, they're 5-key chests.
So of course, we can't get to the fire-locked side of TR, and we can't do Trinex without the Fire Rod, and Lava Chest is out of logic, but that still leaves 10 checks plus Mimic Cave.
And we don't really have any other options, so... Now the question is, what item would you leave on? Is the fire rod enough sufficient by itself, or do you just keep going if you find that? And this is the kind of thing you probably want to figure out while you're walking through this dungeon. Like, okay, if there's a fire rod here, do I leave? That way, when one of those two things shows up, or a lamp, you know what you're doing.
Now, here's a question. Given the green pendant, if you do find Fire Rod in here, do you beat Trinex so that you can turn in the green pendant?
Yeah, it's sort of a similar version of the same question. If the Fire Rod is here, do you just continue and beat Trinex? And assume the Podbig is behind here somewhere. I mean, you could do a bunch of different things with this. You could go back for lava chests. You could do all sorts of things. And the Fire Rod opens 2 more checks in the front as well.
Yeah, and chat pointing out also, since we're going to be exiting to check Mimic Cave and the big chest, we can't just mirror back to the front. So at that point, it would be faster to beat Trinex to get the warp to the front.
Like, what I'm thinking here is if you don't find the Fire Rod, if you find just the lamp or the Podbig, what you might do is die on Laser Bridge and scum the lava chest.
I could see that. Well, there's our desert small, so now the junk on right side desert is in logic.
Yeah, mooglecharm does not know that's junk. We do, because we saw coolpapabell do it.
Hera Big, that opens one more check.
We only have one more in logic, though, so that might be the answer.
Well, there's the fourth small, so it looks like Moogle's thinking, maybe I do lava chest right now. Meanwhile, coolpapabell is taking down Vitreous and gonna find nothing. Hey, there's our final pod small.
Okay, maybe it is Hellway. We're just really last locationing everything.
Yeah, this is quite something. For a while, it seemed like it was going to be an okay seed because we were progressively unlocking things.
And so now we just have Hera, Big Chest, and Hellway?
I mean, does Hera Big have to contain the lamp? Because some of those pod smalls were lamp locked.
Right, the one in Pyramid is lamp locked. You were saying earlier about people forgetting to have the riot shield? Yeah.
There's a completely useless Quake medallion. And Moogle not gonna do Trinex.
With what Fire Rod?
Oh, right. Oof. So now he's gonna go out and around. Harabig just. I guess Harabig could still have the fire rod, yes?
It could have the fire rod, yeah. I don't think it's pod because the 6 key in pyramid is lamp locked. And so are both the big key chests.
Yeah. I guess if Harmless Hellway is our progression, the progression was through both Meyer and TR, so we can't resolve the prediction, but since Harabig was in TR, if Harabig is the progression, which I would think it is, then we can credit that to TR. Okay.
Thanks, game.
And you pretty much have to do Hera Basement now since you're already here.
Yeah, it opens a bunch of really bad checks, so you may as well do this while you're here.
Cody, did you roll this? Cody, I love you, but what in the world is this? What abomination? So, Landmos could also be the answer now.
Yeah, Lambo's in play, a couple more checks in pod are in play. I guess just the one. Meyer Firelocked is in play.
GFE nicely pointing out that it was the rule of fire after all, because we did need Bombos to get ether out of ice, to get Hera Big Key out of TR, to get the lamp out of Hera Big Chest.
Mooglecharm was going to desert but decided he wanted to. No, he's doing this now. Is this...
Oh, he hasn't done the right side yet.
Is this right side desert into Meyer or something?
Looks that way. I mean, it's a density play. You got 2 checks here, 2 checks in Meyer, but only 1 check on Landmo.
And Mooglecharm now might go back to Eastern, because now this is in logic.
What's also interesting is we've only gotten 2 swords this whole time. And Moogle forgot to hit the switch.
One of those things you don't think about because you're usually just doing this with the Bari.
Right, it's part of, you know, a whole sequence, and well, he didn't need the key.
But luckily that torture room gives you a ton of time to go back and hit the switch and come back. It's all the same super tile.
That was probably intentional on the part of the game designers. So they could be at least somewhat forgiving. Yay, cutscene. So there's Harabig for Papa.
Not Meyer.
Yep, so Moogle's gonna do Landmos now. And it's gotta be here, Harmless Hellway, right?
I believe so, although Mooglecharm has one additional check that he can do.
Harmos Knights?
I assume he would do Hellway first. Maybe not. Hellway's definitely a faster check.
Well, this will be another battle where the silvers come in handy, especially since we don't have a fire rod. And there's the fire rod. Because rule of fire, right?
Yep, had to get that lamp. So we'll do Skullwoods, and then chat will get its favorite check.
So 2 more checks back here. And then we have 4 in TR if you include the green pendant and, of course, the amazing Harmless Hellway. And Pedestal.
I assume Mooglecharm's going to pet check here if he doesn't find it in Skullwoods, just to figure out if you need to beeline TR.
Oh shoot. CPB is making a beeline for Harmless Hellway and didn't use that Harabig. That's a problem.
This feels very metagame. Like, it feels like he thinks this out as a fairly wild swing still.
And I think we're gonna get a ped check here.
Still the bridge check.
Oh, that is the pod big key, so we have no mode.
That is helpful for coolpapabell, actually.
Yeah, he can just finish pod while he's here, though, you know, with no fire source, the Terrapin room really isn't that pleasant.
because if I'm mooglecharm, I'm thinking very strongly about TR right now.
Which is probably coolpapabell's only chance at this point if mooglecharm goes to TR. Because if mooglecharm flutes to 5, he's going to be in go mode very soon. And there we go.
He is actually making the play.
So what are we looking at here? About a 155, I guess, depending on where GT Big is.
Yeah, somewhere in the high 150s, I would think. I'm sure that mooglecharm would appreciate a sword at some point. But the odds are very good we're going to find one.
Hey, and while the runners are now converging on pod, we should shout them out. They have been through hell with this seed. Please do give them both a follow. Hopefully coolpapabell, you know, doesn't always stream PowerPoint presentations. So that's go mode for mooglecharm at just over 143. I have to imagine, like, unless the big key is in Hope Room, we're gonna turn up at least one sword in GP.
Probably so, yeah. I mean, we have, what, 5 checks left in the game outside GT?
Yeah. This is gonna be like a 190 seed or something.
So the GT small is actually sort of interesting too. Again, we're probably going to find 1 or 2 in GT, but mooglecharm has 1 right now. And you sort of want 2 to full clear GT. And yeah, if he realizes that he only has 1 key, the sort of safe strat here is skip the double firebar room and hope you find another small key if the key isn't there.
Oh yeah, so numbers are starting to appear in chat. Incoherent, what are these numbers appearing in chat?
They are the number of Ganon warp. Wait, no, that's the wrong game.
That would be a lot of Ganon warps.
I mean, chat is sadistic. No, but they are the number of the check where the big key will be found in the GT basement out of 22. Personally, I decided to opt out of the game a while ago. I did win once with the 24 in honor of Kern. But if you have a particular guess you'd like to get in before mooglecharm enters GT and ends the game,
Cody, having rolled the seed, is of course hoping for 1 after all this disaster. Oh, and coolpapabell's now... Yeah, it's gonna be a while before he goes to Hera, I think.
yeah, he's picking up all the one-off checks that he left behind.
Given that Moogle didn't beat Armos, he only has 1 small key, so not surprising that he's going left from Hope Room. Though I guess if he went to Compass Room, he'd then get the...
Yeah, this is, I
replace it.
think, actually the wrong route, because I think you get your key back if you go right now. He may be skipping double firebar, which it doesn't matter, but... Like, I'm not sure where the GT smalls could be that this would be a problem, but... And he is skipping double firebar, so he does realize he doesn't have enough keys. I think this route works from a key standpoint, that he'll just do this, and then Compass Room, and then Double Firebar, and then Tau Room, I guess.
Usually there's a GT small in GT.
Usually, but usually it's up front because of the way the key logic works.
Yeah. Right, like this area logically requires 3 smalls already. So if we find one, it's logically the 4th. As coolpapabell finally pulls his lamp. Now he's gonna need to find his way to Landmo. Okay, Sword in GT, all is well with the world, right? And that's 16 checks in, because we skipped Firebar?
Yeah, the counter says 15, and we skipped the torch, so that would be 16. It would be just like this seed to put the GT smalls, like, 1 on Armos and 2 behind Fire Rod.
Right side TR. There's the
Alright,
big
so
key.
there's the key, and then he gets the one from the next room and he's fine. And there's a leather small.
Right, because you can have a GT small in that room only if the big key is there.
Correct. You can always have that in rando room. So if you pull a small key in rando room, you know the big key is also in that room.
So congratulations to Lana Bean for correctly guessing 18.
And yeah, if you'd listened to me and done full right first, you would not have gotten tempered.
Also true. This is going to at least be a nice fast Ganon fight. And unfortunately, Cool Papa Bell is doing the same thing as Moogle and trying Fire-Locked Mire before Landmos. In fact, bonking off the wall in Landmo 2 room like that lines you up perfectly to fire Silver Arrow to the left.
This is the part where you sort of try to get the bad taste of the seed out of your brain and just play. Like, the randomized part is over. You just have to bring it home.
Just remember to beat the mini-helmas for the key. You're not gonna look for butter, I don't blame him.
Depending on your level of confidence in your 1-in-1, you might not want it at all.
I do wonder, though, where the other GT small key was, because the one we got in Compass Room is logically the fourth.
Right, I mean, I assume that there is still one that is fire unlocked somewhere.
And Troll Dorm gonna troll, as Cool Papa Bell takes down Landmos, gets his Go Mode Fire Rod with a Rage Slash. But yes, given that big key location, Armos Knights were logically required for the GT small they had.
Yeah, I think it's also possible that it was double firebar for key. I think that works.
I don't think it can have that as well as have a small key in Compass Room with the big key. I think the logic allows one or the other of those two things to happen, but not both.
Like, I think the key logic is implemented as a thing where if it's key, then you only need the minimum number of keys to reach that door.
I got into a whole argument with Structural Mike about this not too long ago. And because I had thought that too, and he convinced me otherwise after we went through the code.
I'm pretty sure Mike has looked at the code, so yeah, I believe him.
Maybe if we're lucky, sub 158.
So not the 1-in-1, but 2-in-1 with the cape should be fine.
Oh, simultaneous boss fights. Of course, I have no idea how many hits Cool Papa Bell's landed, but that looks like an exploding moth.
I mean, that's normal for Moth. You never can really tell whether or not a hit counted.
Should be able to get a double here on Ganon. Ooh, gets the triple. Very nice. Didn't think you could get that.
Yeah, that was
So
close.
Get your GGs in for mooglecharm. So he will cross and finish with an official race time of 1:57.43. Followed shortly thereafter by a forfeit from Cool Papa Bell, who really doesn't want to do the whole GT climb after 2 hours of this garbage. And we are joined by our winner, mooglecharm. GG.
Hey, thanks, Strassi. GG.
What was that?
I don't know. My head hurts.
But chat loved the adherence to the rule of fire.
Well, to be fair, that's why I ended up going to ice before swamp. I'm like, I gotta do homemade beer proud, jump into ice, get my fire rod, and then wait. It was like, several steps behind that, but yeah, that was. I mean, me and Cool Papa Bell were chatting in race time a little bit. Sounds like he had some issues, but like, I don't know. I don't know how I won that race because it just every decision felt bad. Like the seed never really gave you a great option. You always had like 2 or 3 things that you could do, and nothing felt great. And then when I went to the mountain and there was a bunch of good stuff up there, it was like, oh, this is not good. So I felt behind the whole time, and I had all these big chests that I didn't do, and isolated stuff, and I just felt out of sorts the entire time.
Yeah, I think everything up to about the hammer, you could say, okay, a reasonable person could have done this better than I did, and then everything just goes completely to shit. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I was so initially what I was thinking of doing was like the village stuff down. So I was, pick up the smith and then drop off the smith, and then I was going to do the north route, and I ended up getting a book, and I was like, I should take the purple chest down now and go check desert. And when I got the flute, I felt pretty good about that. But if I hadn't gotten that book, I was going to end up checking the pyramid, and then I would have gotten the hammer. But I don't know how. I guess if the book was in a different spot, maybe I don't get the flute. Who knows? But I could have gotten it a lot earlier. But when I got the book, it pulled me to desert.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. And then, as you said, the other unfortunate thing was just doing ice before swamp.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I don't know, if you're going to choose one big chest to isolate, I feel like ice is the one. It didn't work out in this seed, but it was like, well, neither, if I'm going to go to one first, it's going to be ice. But then with swamp, like, I'm going to feel like I have to do all those mirror checks and stuff too. So I kind of wanted to put that off a little bit longer, hoping to find something. So that was really the other reason.
And I think it all sort of made sense. It's just very unfortunate where the ice big was and then where your progression was.
Yeah, as soon as I pulled that ice big, I was so upset. I'm like, man, I was just there, but like with Thieves Big, I had the hammer pick still. And like there were these things that were just, even though they were awful, everything was awful, but just slightly better, you know? I put off pod long enough, waiting for some keys, and there was like nothing there. It's like, oh my God, this seed is just brutal. And then I go into Eastern and I have that total screw up in the room north of the chest, and for whatever reason I couldn't get out of the door, and I'm just like, I'm just leaving, because like doing Armos isn't even in logic. But at
Well,
that point,
the irony in pod also was that both of you guys wanted to save your last small key for when you got the pod big, so that you could just go right to Helma King. So you both skipped Harmless Hellway.
yeah, well, for me, it's like if I can't open the big chest, like I was still looking for a couple things, right? So it's better to go to the back if I have the ability to do the 2 checks instead of the 1. So it routes a lot better if you just burn that key up front and then save Hellway for the big chest. But I never get that decision right. Even if I'm going to route it correctly, it always burns me in the end. I don't know.
Yeah, straight
Awful.
coin flip.
Yeah.
And then Turtle Rock was the answer, and then it only had to hear a big key, and so we're just sort of being strung along in last locations for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah. I don't think I ever strongly considered going back to TR, because it was like, well, I have the Front of Desert and Mire, 4 checks that are, they're going to take like a lot less time than going back to TR. But there was a thing where it's like, well, this seed is just so awful that it's going to put it on PED. My answer is going to be PED, It's going to put the big key there, and I'm going to
Chat really
do
wanted
all this
that.
stuff. So when I went to Skullwoods and I checked it, I was like, okay, all right. So there's one thing I don't need to worry about, but it was still like out there, like when I was choosing between Pod Eastern versus TR, like that was a real thing. I was like, well, if the key happens to be in Pod, I'm just gonna lose it. So I went there first and got lucky.
Hey, you kept it under 2 hours at the end of the day.
I know. It was like an hour and 30 in. I'm like, man, this is gonna take longer than 2, isn't it?
And then after all that, we had GT key problems because you only got the 1.
Yeah. With 1, normally I'll do like DM strats or like if it's like a key sanity mode, just go straight to compass room and then I'll go left. But chose to do the hope to rando or hope left, and then decide like what to do at rando room. And since I only had the 1 key, I kept going.
Well, I got you a sword at least.
Yes, I was happy about that. To go that entire seed with Master, and then if I had to fight Ganon on Master, it's like, yeah, you're gonna do this to me, aren't you? But no, it was nice to pull that sword out at the end.
Yeah, we're not sure where the 4th GT small is. There's one on Armos that you skipped.
Okay, yeah, if the big key happened to be in the double firebar room, I was going to run over to TR just to check the front. Probably. I didn't want to do the climb without a key. Like, it's, I don't know, it feels like
It had to be
it's not gonna work
somewhere.
out for me. Yeah. Well, it could be upstairs, but I don't know. That feels risky to me.
By the way, I was thinking, seeing, it scroll by showing that the boots were 3 minutes in. Imagine what this would have been like without the boots 3 minutes in.
I know. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it would have been way more painful for sure.
So how are you feeling about groups in general? You're now 3-1 and have 2 races with Ninjembro coming up.
Feel pretty good. I was like really hoping to at least get to 500, because this group, it's like we're all really good. I feel like we're all fairly even. Me and Shady battle it out quite a bit on like spoiler modes and stuff, so he always tends to beat me by like a couple minutes. So I felt really good actually getting a 1-on-1 against him. Obviously feels good to 2-0 anybody. Coolpapabell is a good runner, so hoping to just get to be able to at least split with Ninjembro, because that should put me in a decent spot. I know there's potential for tiebreaker scenarios if we all happen to somehow go 4-2 or something, but at least I'll be in a good spot.
If you go 4-2, the worst case scenarios, you wind up in a 3-way tie and have to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So at least getting to split Shady was good. And then hopefully I can get one against Ninjembro.
Well, good luck to you going forward. I see that those matches aren't yet on the schedule, so I can't plug them.
We were talking. We're probably going to get one on Sunday, on Mother's Day. I think like 2 or 3 Eastern. And then probably late the following week for the second one.
Okay. Yeah, you still got almost 2 weeks just to get in 2 matches, so that shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, he was traveling for the last week, so he's kind of starting to do the scheduling stuff now.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, either of you have anything more here?
No, thanks for putting us on Restream though. Really appreciate it. It's always fun to be on Restream and get to give the Twitch chat a good show. And GG's again to Coolpapabell. It was a trash fire seed, but I'm glad we're done with it.
Yeah, GG's to you, GG's to Coolpapabell. You both fought well for 2 hours here. Took a lot to stick that out. And thanks to our tracker, Lopoy, for tracking with limited experience, tracking key sanity, and with having a slideshow from one of the runners. This was not an easy race to track, so we really appreciate your work. And Incoherent, this was fun working together.
Yeah, it was a good time. I'm glad chat enjoyed the trash fire, yeah.
And coming up, the next race in the tournament is at 12:10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, so just about 12 hours from now on ALTTP Randomizer, featuring Andy versus Eridan. Yes, that Andy. And then, a whole day's worth of matches through the afternoon and evening on the SpeedGaming channels and ALTTP Randomizer channels. So please give them all a follow so you can be alerted when these matches happen. And I think that's gonna do it for us tonight. I'll give you the last word, Incoherent.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to mooglecharm and Coolpapabell for putting on the show for us. Thanks to Lopoy for tracking. Good night, everybody.